All right, hey now, it's the Rob from 106.1 KISS FM, here with my tag team partner in podcasting, the no longer echoing Jerry Valeri. Good morning, Jer.
Rob. I feel like yesterday we were a lot like WrestleMania. We looked incredible, but it just, something wasn't clicking.
Yeah, we had a few problems too. I will address those. First of all, I want to thank the guys who did alert me that there were problems, and I am sorry that I was unable to fix them. Everything coming through our headphones was fine, but because I was under the gun, I had to get out of the studio at a certain time, and I knew we had a lot to talk about. I did forget to change a setting, so I do accept the blame for the audio problems on yesterday's broadcast. I'm glad that people either, I did get, there was a follow-up. I put a link into the description of the video yesterday to like an unlisted video of just the audio. So people could either play the audio by itself. I know a lot of people probably just listen to it. I also assume maybe some people could have played the video and played the audio at the same time. I don't know how you did it, but I apologize for the problems. I blame myself.
Right. It was one of those situations where it sounded, I couldn't hear, I wouldn't have been able to listen to the video itself. I wouldn't have been able to do that.
Yeah. And some people did. And I'm just like, thank you guys really for hanging in there with that. And yeah, if it happens again, please let me know. I'll know how to fix it again in the future. But in the meantime, we had a huge night last night with no shortage of things to talk about from the Raw after WrestleMania.
Sure.
And there was, let's see, things got off to an interesting start. I took plenty of notes, lots of things to talk about today. So I've got a few. If it's not one thing, it's another, isn't it?
I mean, someone else is there in studio, so I can't say anything.
No, I mean, like, dude, we're thankful that you're able to get the studio, and I mean, he probably didn't know we were on video, I'm assuming.
I think he did. He does. He knows because he knows I do it every day. I use it every day, and he's so gracious. So I think he might have been bumped off the air. Because we had to unplug and plug back the phones, and I think we might have knocked him off the air. And so he had to fix that, and I whatever. I'm not gonna say anything. But I was wondering if you were going to notice the other person buzzing around me.
Well, I did, but whatever.
I totally missed what you said.
I was just saying that there's plenty to talk about from last night's show. I'll go ahead and say that unlike WrestleMania, which, by the way, I don't know if it's – I was going to say it was a polarizing WrestleMania because there was a lot of discussion about it yesterday, but it seemed like Eric and Johnny Luchador were the only ones who really liked it.
Boy, the weed in Evansville must be really good.
Well, Eric's not in it. He can't blame Evansville weed. I'm not sure. I don't think Eric was ever a big partaker in that to begin with.
It's
but
okay to think that it was a good Mania, I guess, or an average Mania, but they gave it A ratings.
That's kind of where I'm at. I get liking it, but I do think an A is crazy.
Maybe if you only compare it to what's happened in this calendar year, it was an A.
Sure. Okay, yeah. If you're comparing it to all the pay-per-views since last year's WrestleMania, it may have been an A pay-per-view, but Eric compared it. He was going back. He referenced WrestleMania 17, 18, and 19.
18's your favorite, correct?
No, 18's the one I was at. I don't think 18 was that good, to be honest with you. 19 was pretty good, I would say. 17's the best ever, though. 17 is an A.
Okay.
17's an A plus, if that exists too.
And I would say 21 was an A plus for me. I loved that one.
And I also want to say, 21 is definitely an A. I also will say, when I wrote down my notes originally on Sunday, I always usually give 2-letter grades, and I did say I settled on D plus, and I'm comfortable sticking with that. I would go as far as to say a C minus, but an A, I can't believe Eric is saying that. Like, I get, like, if you've been watching wrestling for a year or two, thinking WrestleMania was an A, but Eric's, I bet you've seen all of them.
Yeah, probably in chronological order with the network. You know,
I bet you've seen them all before the network.
I've now seen this WrestleMania twice. I watched it again with my kids. It took 2 days, but we did it. And I'm ready to say that maybe D was too harsh, and I would go as far as C-, but I can't abide an A. I can't do it. That doesn't make sense to me.
But I also want to say that that's why I love the post show. And I do love differing opinions, especially wrestling fans that I respect. Like, I mean, Eric and Johnny both are wrestling fans that I respect, and that they had such a different opinion about it. Just like Steve and Roman Reigns, like another guy whose opinion I respect has always defended him, but he feels so differently than I do. That I always like when it kind of, pops off on the post show. I love the disagreements. I think that's what makes it fun. I don't know many people that will disagree on last night's show, though. I think did you love it? I loved last night's show. It was great. Yeah, I did. I liked the show a lot last night. Let's get into it, actually. Couldn't believe how it started. Loved how it started. My goodness. I'm sorry, say that again? They were venomous. They were out of control. Yeah, but you know what, dude? And I'm going to throw this at you, and I bet you this is not that profound a thought. I bet you a lot of the smarter wrestling fans have probably already realized this. I feel like, and let this digest for a second, or think about it before you comment. I really feel like we're now at the point where all of these boos are only helping Roman Reigns. We've reached that point because this has taken him from a different, how there's typically two classifications. There's heels and there's baby faces. And it seemed like Roman had never really committed to one or the other, or even if he had committed to one, the audience has taken him a different way. He's now in this third level that very few get to. And that level is all I can say is he's not a heel. He's not a face. He's a Cena. He's a Cena. I mean, you're right. They're chanting "Thank you, Taker," and then Roman sucks. I mean, like the smart fans hate his guts, but kids are wearing his shirt. And my son loves Roman Reigns. Vince McMahon's out there trying to cut a promo, and they're just saying, Roman sucks. And what do you think he hears? He hears evoked emotion. Yes, exactly. And the fans in there fancy themselves as being smart fans too, I'm sure. And they think that they're really sticking it to Roman. They're doing him favors. There's no way around it at this point. At least they're finally booking him correctly then, because they send him out and he's getting eaten alive. And every time, and he's milking it. And I'll give him credit, all credit in the world. He didn't try to talk over it. I don't know if they planned for this or if they knew this was going to happen or what, but it's hard to plan for the crowd. They try to plan for the crowd to do chants sometimes, and it backfires. Goldberg, but it didn't here. He goes out, and every time he raises the mic, boo, and he just puts it back down, and he lets them cut the promo. The crowd cuts the promo for a good 8 minutes, and then he says, "This is my yard now." Drops the mic. They boo louder than they do the rest of the evening, and he walks out of there. And it was absolutely perfect. One of the best promos he ever cut. No, my note is, and this is not a joke. This is not a joke, and it's not a backhanded compliment. Without a shadow of a doubt, it was the best promo he's ever cut. Yeah, there it is. And I agree. The fact that it was only one sentence is not a backhanded compliment. It did not need to be more. He didn't need to keep going and going. That was it. He got the place booed him. They wanted him dead, and he left. Yeah, and like I said, that's in all seriousness, not a backhanded compliment. Handled it like a pro. Cut the one line because that's all he needed to say. Anything more would have been a waste. Plus, let's be honest, he's not known for being dynamic on the mic. Let's not have him go for miles when just a 40-yard dash will get the job done. You know what I mean? So good to the WWE for giving the crowd some room. And were you surprised they weren't getting bleeped? Because it was pretty explicit and it was pretty clear. Brittany and I both noted that because I've heard much less graphic chants. They try to cut it. It always sounds awful when they try to cut it. I thought the announcer sounded good, too. Well, and keep in mind, I think when they're cutting, they're also cutting on a delay. So I think it's really tough to do that. It's got to be super hard to do that. And
It would have just been disjointed, and then the announcers handled it perfectly, I thought, afterwards, you know?
How so?
Well, they apologized for it without apologizing for it. They just basically explained to the viewers, this is a different kind of crowd.
Yeah, okay, you're right.
You know, they're expressing their opinion, and this is going to be pretty raucous tonight. And man, was it ever? And I thought it was a hot show. I mean, you go right from that. You have the Hardy Boys defend their title. That was a great match. I loved the cruiserweight match. I mean, just move down the card. It was I thought it was pretty raw.
You know, it's funny because
that was a fast 3 hours, I thought.
Absolutely, and Raw usually drags. Last night did not. It was a fast 3 hours. I kind of slapped my forehead because we talked about WrestleMania kind of closing a chapter, the Raw after opening the new chapters, which we certainly did. But they dubbed the first match of the night to be a rematch. I don't think it was a rematch. I think what they were trying to convey is Gallows and Anderson are enacting their rematch clause.
That's what it was.
Yeah, but I wouldn't call that a rematch. Plus, even if it still felt fresh. Gallows and Anderson versus the Hardys. I'm so happy the Hardys are back. They really were the WrestleMania moment for me. I still don't know where they're going with their character. I know that Delete and Broken is the big thing, and I admit to being a little bit ignorant to what those things are. I'm excited.
I know you do this now. Delete, 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 delete. Yeah. I guess that's what you do.
And I know that means you support the Hardys, and I've seen the, what was it called? The Final Deletion, which I did not like at all. But, you know, I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with the Hardys. And I'm also glad that over the past, however long it's been, 8 years, the Hardys have been able to keep their head above water at the very least in wrestling.
They still look sharp to me, I think.
And yeah, and they're still very capable. Good. Yeah. Another note I had, it hit me during the Hardys entrance. After watching WrestleMania for 7 hours and that gorgeous, humongous set and venue, for whatever reason, the set last night, even though it was normal size, felt tiny.
It did. It felt like a dollhouse.
It really did. Yeah, that's all I can say, because 7 hours of watching this humongous set, so elaborate, and then they go back to normal. It was like, whoa, it just feels so cramped.
Right, and I love that set of Mania where it goes around, and I just thought it was great.
I was happy to see Vince McMahon, and he's usually known for making exciting announcements, and I feel like last night was no different.
How happy were you?
Yeah, well, so I have a few thoughts about this. The first thing is, initially I was like, well, you know what? I really want to see him wrestle again, but this doesn't mean that he won't be wrestling. I wasn't expecting to see him wrestle regularly.
Yeah, and this is how they'll do it. This is how they'll only have him wrestle, like at SummerSlam, maybe.
Yeah, you're probably right. And not only that, he will be good in this role because here's the thing. Here's the thing about Angle and his comedy is there's a certain kind of comedy you need for wrestling, and it's unique to wrestling. For example, when you inject other funny people into wrestling, I don't know, Drew Carey, he's funny, whatever. But when you mix it up with wrestling, or Ben Stiller, there are plenty of examples of people who are known for being funny who just don't get over in wrestling.
Like Jon Stewart, kind of.
Sure, yeah, and he probably got over the best, and it still was, it still kind of missed. There's a certain kind of humor wrestling fans come to expect, and Angle really gets it. He does. If you showed the promo, or like where Angle said, "That's not how you spell soft."
That was my line of the night. That one, my other line of the night was when Enzo said, "I'm a certified G and a bona fide stud, and you can't teach that." And Angle goes, "Not any college I've ever heard of." Yeah.
So, but my point about that was, if you showed that to non-wrestling fans, that's not funny.
Right.
But to us, it is, because it's what. Wrestling comedy is just different. It's a different brand of comedy.
Kelly was sitting on the chair watching. She was on her phone while I was watching it, and I just was laughing. And she was like, "What is it with this guy?" I was like, "This guy, he's great. Isn't he great?" She's like, "Nah, I don't know. He's not that funny." And I was like, "You're missing it," and you just explained it perfectly.
Yeah, it's just a different kind of funny that only wrestling fans get. And Angle has always gotten it with his little cowboy hats and his headgear with the wig sewn in and the milk stuff, and he's just always gotten it. And he'll be good in this role. Foley is a guy who usually does okay when the humor but Angle is one of the funniest, even better than Edge and Christian, I think, who try really hard, usually hit, but sometimes miss. Angle really gets it.
After watching Raw last night, the Hardys showing up at WrestleMania is no longer my favorite WrestleMania moment. My favorite WrestleMania moment is Stephanie going through the table, because now she's gone, and we have Angle, and we don't have to worry about authority angles and blah blah blah. It's just and it's going to be refreshing. I'm very excited, and that was only one of the 2 exciting announcements that Vince McMahon gave us.
Oh, yeah. I don't even have any notes about that, except for it's a little frustrating, but I'm kind of excited. I'm assuming you're talking about the superstar switch up?
The superstar shakeup, and they didn't say draft. They never said the word draft, so I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, my only thing is, I know their goal is to kind of treat them as 2 unique brands. And remember when WWF and WCW had the great superstar shakeup in the 90s?
Yeah.
It's just so far-fetched to me, but on the same hand, we need it.
So what's going to happen? I don't want you to predict it all, but if you had to predict one big person from each show, who's moving?
I'm thinking, the one we talked about heading into WrestleMania was AJ and Roman.
Yeah, I think that's a possibility.
Yeah, but you know what? These guys need fresh changes, I think. And I would think that the women's division, they're the ones that are really striking me as sore thumbs of needing fresh opponents.
Right. I would move Seth Rollins over.
Sure, maybe. I wish you would have given me a heads up on this, because I would have given it some more thought.
Yeah, I didn't give it a lot of thought either, to be fair. I just thought, superstar shakeup, maybe that's something we mention later this week, or it'll be exciting next week. I'm excited for that. I think it'll be fun.
Well, you know what? Or maybe on the next episode when we recap SmackDown, because it's the shorter show, we'll be able to dig more into thoughts like that. And I had a few more lines of the night. Another one came around this time when New Day came out. Did you catch Corey Graves' comment?
Which one did he say?
He called them the Legion of Dumb.
Oh, the Legion of Dumb I thought was great, because they had the ice cream pads. Yeah, I did love that one.
So there was that. That also led to the debut of the Revival.
Man, they were great.
Yeah, they really are. And I like because this is such a good crowd to bring them up for, because they're, as we mentioned earlier, they're the smarter fans, and they know Dash and Dawson, and they're excited for them. So if you would have waited a week, the reaction wouldn't have been half of what you had last night.
It would have been tepid. And my favorite part of that whole match was coming down, and I don't know them apart yet, but the one guy, the stubby bald dude, he just knocks the ice cream cart over. I loved it. They just go down the ring and boom, he knocks the New Day ice cream cart over.
Which, by the way, good. I'm so over that cart. It's not doing him any favors anymore.
Boom, smash.
Yeah. So also, along with the New Day, and while we're mentioning the crowd last night, it took some serious big ones, if you ask me, some serious balls to put Xavier in front of the live crowd. But Xavier's been handling this with precision. There were no page chants. How there weren't defies logic to me. But
I thought he was going to get eaten alive out there.
I did too, and he hasn't yet. And I'm just really proud of them. And answer me this.
I think wrestling fans have given Xavier Woods a pass. You know why?
They like him.
Because he's an incredibly likable guy.
Yeah, maybe. I can tell you on his social media, he's not getting a pass, but he's still just handling it like he should. Yeah. Not only that, the people, when someone makes a comment on his social media, because I follow him on Facebook, so someone will immediately make a Page comment or a Brad Maddox comment, and then 30 people will swarm in and tell that person that he's an idiot. It's kind of what happens.
Okay.
So he's come out of this one like a champ.
Yeah, he's doing great.
Also, let me get, and I'm asking out of genuine curiosity, do you ever feel like, now there was the first time where it's inarguable, where they were alluding to it. I feel like there's been once per appearance, I feel like someone alludes to it lightly. Do you get that, or is it just me?
I didn't get that, no.
Okay, then maybe it's just me. I can't remember the example, but there's always, whether it was the opening promo at WrestleMania or their promo last night, I always feel like Big E is kind of making a inside joke about it, but I'm not positive.
Oh, well, he is. You mean he's making penis references?
Okay, maybe that's what it is. But with Xavier out there, you'd think that you'd cool it on that.
You'd cool it on that, but he didn't. He didn't. Yeah, he did a penis joke on Sunday, and then he did one last night.
Yeah,
but
wasn't it kind of directed toward Xavier, or am I making that part up?
I think that part's in your head, but
okay.
I could be wrong.
I could be wrong too. Perfect. So that's what I thought about that. We finally had the return of Emma. And I have the perfect way to sum up her look. Tell me if you disagree with this one. When she was on the table, and I mean, even thereafter, you know how like in the movies, whenever there's a bachelor party and a stripper shows up, she's always dressed like a cop?
Yes.
That's what she looks like, isn't it?
Yeah, she did. And I don't know, she comes out to this big entrance and stands on the table, and she's still playing third or fourth fiddle in that match,
Yeah, she's not over yet.
She's not over at all, and she's not going to be.
But she's cute.
And I like the Nia Jax Charlotte thing. I think that's good. I think that's good for them.
If I ordered a stripper to show up for my bachelor party and it's Emma dressed up like a cop, I'm not asking for my money back.
No, I'm not kicking her out.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
No way.
So, and what were you saying? What is the Charlotte Nia Jax thing going to be? I'm curious.
I don't know. It looks like they're going to have a bit of an angle, and that's going to lead the way for maybe Sasha and Bayley, but who knows who goes where next week. So I mean, it all could be for naught.
I would think one of them would have to go face for this, and that seems like a far fetch.
Yeah, I don't see how that's possible.
We have a Brock Lesnar segment that leads to what I'm going to call an awkward at best showdown with Braun Strowman.
Why are they making Braun Strowman come out just so he can run away every time?
Here's the comparison I'm making, and I feel like they're writing these angles for Braun Strowman, and every time they're like, okay, we're off to a great start here, things are good, Braun's looking good, Braun's looking strong, and then they go to lunch, and like, okay, we'll come back and we'll finish the angle here in a second, but they never come back to finish it. And it's like Braun just gets left out. Braun doesn't know what to do at a certain point. So Braun confronts Brock Lesnar looking like he's got big brass ones.
Like, I mean, and he looked so big compared to Lesnar.
Yeah.
It was impressive.
It did him a favor at first, but then it seemed like he didn't know how to end it, and there was just an awkward walk away. And he tells Brock, we'll do this on my time, but this is your time. You just interrupted Brock.
Yeah, you came out.
Yeah, that's not the way you end one of these.
No, you step over the belt is what you do.
Correct. Yeah, you don't have to fight tonight, but you can't just walk away.
It's twice now. They're botching Braun Strowman. You want a monster, you have one. Okay? He might not be ready yet, blah, 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 but you have a monster. He's over with the crowd enough.
Amazingly.
Yeah, so just let the man be a monster. It's clearly going to be Brock Lesnar's next feud. Let it happen.
Well, I will say this. While I do think the execution was a little touch and go at best last night, I'm not complaining because I do want to see them go.
That's a fresh match. That'll be a stiff one, too.
In my head, I was just like anybody but Roman. I thought they were going for Roman, and I was just like, no, anybody, literally anybody but Roman. And
I thought it was going to be Roman.
Yeah, I did too.
I thought that yesterday during the podcast. I thought it was going to be Roman.
And I thought it was going to be Owens. And
I don't know what they're doing with Owens. Maybe,
I don't know either. Either way, Strowman I can deal with, but you guys need to you got to handle him with a little more care.
Yeah, because you're going to break this. You're going to break him.
Yeah, it seems like you're trying to.
It's Bray Wyatt syndrome.
You know what they're doing with Braun? Remember when CM Punk had Paul Bearer's ashes in the urn, and he was like bobbling them around in his hands? Like he like almost dropped them, and then he finally did.
Is Braun Strowman the urn?
Yeah, Braun Strowman is the urn. You guys are. It seems like you're trying to break him. Let's not do that. I'm not even saying Braun's great. Like he's still relatively untested, but let's not break this one right now, please.
Only other couple of notes I have one about Jericho. I think his brilliance came through in his promo where he just mentioned Beach Ball Mania, and people went crazy. He played to the crowd. They were chanting for Beach Ball Mania, which made no sense during the Neville match. And so when he got a chance to talk, he mentioned Beach Ball Mania, and everybody went crazy.
I had one last line of the night from that segment. It actually wasn't from Jericho. It was from Corey Graves.
Yeah?
Yeah. Owens, he said, quote, Owens wasn't going to let Jericho disparage his finger this long.
Yeah, I know. In the tip of your finger.
Yeah, so there was that. Hey, also, can I had one more thought about the Strowman thing, if I could back up for just a second.
Back it up.
One more thing that was sticking out to me was also, if we're like, you know, an everyman watching this, and you've been watching for the past few months, why would we believe that Strowman deserves a title shot? He hasn't had a victory, let alone a big victory, in like months. You know, it's like it's been a really long time since we've seen him do anything besides lose or cower. You know,
it wouldn't have hurt anybody if he'd beaten Roman.
Really, or just a double DQ or something.
Let him get the win over Roman. Roman gets the win over Taker. Everybody wins.
So, and then I've got nothing till the main event. You have anything you want to mention before?
No, I'm into the main event. Let's go.
Okay, this may be a controversial statement, and I'm open to other people's opinions. I do like Finn Balor. I'm not opposed to Finn Balor. I'm not in the camp that thinks he's the second coming, but I think that I'm optimistic about his chance of making a really big impression on the fans. I think he's championship material. Correct me if I'm wrong, Jer. And if you disagree, feel free. I feel like his return, what's the word I want to use? It wasn't as big as I was expecting.
I would have called it. I would agree to the yes and no. It was predictable. It was the minute Jericho gets hurt, it's predictable.
Maybe that was half of the problem.
Angle says, "I'll find you a partner," and the crowd was already chanting Finn Balor earlier in the night. You knew what was going to happen, or we want Finn. It was okay. I think that the thing with Finn Balor is everybody loves him, but they really love him when he shows up as the Demon. So when he just shows up in his boy band jacket and his nice abs and his super pasty Sheamus skin, I don't know how impressive that is to a lot of people. So
I got to tell you, you nailed that, because I fall into that category. I like him when he's the boy band jacket enough. When he's the Demon, that's when I feel like I'm supposed to look at him.
That's when it's super special, but we don't want him to be the boogeyman and have to be the Demon all the time.
Correct. I don't want it every time. You're right. So yeah.
It's a double-edged sword, but when he makes his debut as Finn Balor, you almost want him to come out as the Demon, just that one time.
Yeah, and also, I just thought that given the crowd and how thirsty they seemed for him, I mean, maybe I had my volume low or something, but it just seemed like I expected much more.
They knew he was coming. He was never going to get the Hardy Boys pop because everybody saw it coming from a mile away.
So the Hardy Boys, correct me if they got a bigger pop, right?
Well, they did. No one saw it coming. Everyone thought New Day was coming down, and then
I thought you were talking about last night.
Oh, last night? They might have gotten the biggest face pop of the night. Those two, more than Enzo.
No, I would say the Revival did, if not Angle.
Okay. Angle for sure.
Yeah.
Everyone was sort of worried that it was going to be Teddy Long.
Yeah, but don't you think that? Well, that was well done too. I forgot to mention that.
I was just like, oh God, please no, not Teddy Long.
And hey, one more thing. I want to address another thing Eric said. I still feel like they're non-committal to this Undertaker retirement.
Oh, they were big time last night. They were flippy floppy.
Yeah.
Like, if he is gone, then it's so, thank you. Even, so, if he's gone, it seems like he's gone. People are reporting that he's retired.
Yeah.
No saying anything. Yeah. That means he's retired.
So that's kind of why I feel like Eric thought we downplayed the importance of that, which, I suppose it's a valid opinion, but I still haven't. I was really thinking that after tonight we'd have some sort of clarity. I don't. I still am not convinced we've seen our last Undertaker match, and they're not even telling us that we have.
And I'm not making a fool of myself again. I remember when he came out and told us he was back, I was geeked out that the Undertaker was back. And then I didn't see him again for 3 months. So, sorry, you're not getting a thank you taker from me yet until I know you're retired.
Right. Can we just commit to one? And honestly, I'm even on board if we do one more as the retirement match. Yeah. I'm on board. Let's do WrestleMania 34, have it be the last one, and let's make it something really special. And I will really look forward to it, knowing it's his last match.
Yeah, and I'll really look forward to it if it's against Kane and it's Kane's last match.
You know what? That's actually not the worst idea I've heard.
It's just they both go out together. Let them die in the ring. Not for real. That'd be cruel. I just mean let them die and then they go away. And it's just a pile
or
of
maybe a more storybook-like ending. Like maybe since he is so special, maybe a casket-type ending or like something involving an urn or something just a bit more
like lighting the ring, and then when the lights come on, he's just gone.
Yeah, and there's like dry ice or something, just like some sort of remnants. We can do better. Don't you think we can do better?
We can do better.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying. I'm not ignoring it. I'm taking it for face value right now.
But you know what? You know that Undertaker was so happy last night when he saw Roman Reigns getting booed. That's why he got pinned. That's why he probably asked to be pinned. He's an old school guy, like you said. He went out the way that they go out, and he got Roman over. He got Roman over in like heel heat, big time. Now, WWE doesn't want him to be a heel. I get it, but he had heel heat coming out of his eyes last night.
Yeah, I don't exactly know what.
And it was all because of the Taker.
Yeah, well, they would have chewed him up no matter what, but Taker certainly helped.
Yeah.
And man, now his promo last night, it was his best work. It was his best work. But anyway, let's wrap things up because I've got a meeting and someone else needs to take over the studio.
I'm surprised someone else has come in the room.
Thank you to the special appearance by Jerry's engineer. We're very happy to see third face on the show. And please feel free to roast me in the comments if you disagree with anything I said. I know I said a few things that may have people may disagree with.
Hey, you don't like Finn Balor? Huh? You want to fight about it?
I like Finn Balor a lot, but his return was underwhelming. There's no way around it. For myself, The Rob, and my tag team partner, no longer echoing Jerry Valeri, we will catch you tomorrow or Thursday with one more post to post.
Bye, 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 bye.